Throughout the course of human history, there's been a deep, perpetual longing for freedom, whether it be as an individual or as a collective. And people have gone to great lengths to achieve this freedom, whether it be voyages into the unknown or even self-sacrifice in an attempt to help others. This, quest, this journey for freedom has been inextricably tied to humanity. However, it may be best to look outside of ourselves in order to see what freedom really looks like. I mean, after all, we have a pretty terrible track record of giving one another freedom. That list would be painstakingly long. Additionally, us humans have a tendency to believe that we are of the utmost importance. This is not to say that I think that we're unimportant or anything like that. We're obviously important, but this search for freedom has led our egos, throughout the centuries into believing that when we can't get our ketchup for our fries, that we are being sort of invalidated.
No, I know. I want more cheese. There's not enough cheese. Look at that. There's no cheese. I know, but I mean that.
So then, here I feel as if it's perfect to bring in Diogenes of Sinope. It's quite possible that we have evidence for someone solving the problem of freedom over 2,000 years ago. And I hate to break it to you, but Diogenes did not care about your ketchup. Diogenes did indeed look outside of human beings in the search for freedom, pointing to dogs as the perfect role models. The Greek philosopher was one of the founding thinkers in the school of cynicism, whose name is, derived from our canine comrades. Diogenes felt that the Greek society in which he lived was lost and confused. With claims similar to that of which have already been mentioned, Diogenes felt that the ancient Greek society was living in hypocritical and superficial ways. And I think that Diogenes would have loved the term virtue signaling. The main thrust of Diogenes' cynicism pertains to the nature of dogs themselves. Dogs unequivocally live in the moment, with no sort of fear or anxiety about the past or the future. But what about dogs that have thunder coats? Yes, some dogs get nervous at loud noises, but I think you'll ironically find that these dogs are the ones that have the most humanity infused into them. They're the ones that have had, sort of centuries of selective breeding with humans messing with their own nature. Or they're just older dogs and, raise your glasses to the older dogs. You gotta love those guys. Anyways, coming back down to earth, because dogs live matter-of-factly in the moment, according to Diogenes, they live in truth, which is otherwise freedom. Here's a little statement from Diogenes, who none of his writings survive, but this is his words because the Greeks were pretty good at recording stuff. Anyways, here's the statement. Unlike human beings who either dupe others or are duped, dogs will give an honest bark at the truth. This serves as a way for Diogenes to maintain that society is growing in superficial and hypocritical ways, which lead to unhappiness, which is his real, true sort of idea of freedom. And here, to harp on this once more, it really is astounding that he made these criticisms over 2 millennia ago. And it's just another reason to absolutely love philosophy. We have to ask ourselves, I feel, just how much more superficial our society has gotten as compared to the ancient Greeks. I mean, if you spend any amount of time watching TV, you end up getting drilled into your mind that you deserve, the tropical berry, double blasted, frozen, icy sunshine smoothie, and all in the name of freedom. That's what you deserve. You deserve the freedom to purchase this item. Like, watch this commercial from Sonic. I was gonna make a separate video on it, but I feel as if it fits perfectly here.
Here's a life hack. While you're physically at work, you can be mentally somewhere else entirely. So grab a refreshing summer edition Red Bull slush and imagine you're at the pool, or literally anywhere else but at work. Sonic Red Bull Summer Edition slush. Sonic.
It's not a stretch at all to think that Diogenes and dogs alike would be disinterested in this commercial. It would do nothing for them. And I'm not trying to be the Unabomber here or some dark edgelord, But it is reasons like these to push back against capitalism. It's such a shocker that there's infinite reasons to dislike the system, aside from the systemic inequality that it brings forth. Capitalism leads us into thinking that freedom is the ability to obtain material goods and pay for experiences. That freedom is inherently tied to money or capital. It's lying to us the entire time we take part in it. And meanwhile, the top 1% has a much easier time discovering freedom the way Diogenes thinks about it. In other words, the 1% gets to choose to live like dogs if they want to. I realize that living like dogs raises some ethical concerns, and we do have evidence for Diogenes acting questionably. But Diogenes was known to carry a lantern around while it was sunny outside, which I think is one of the best ironic pranks I've ever heard. Aside from that, we are human beings, and I do think that we deserve to be respected by one another. We have capacity to reason and emote and those sorts of things. And so, while I love Diogenes, I wouldn't outright say that we should live like dogs, but the man's really got a point here. I was with my friends on vacation, and we were just kicking it back, and there was these two absolutely live wire dogs. They were running amok, and it's not as if it were a chaotic environment. All it was some card games and, just some chatter here and there. But yet, these dogs were freaking out, running around, humping my leg, and taking things that weren't stinky or tasty. They were just taking them to take them. And our host, their owner, got frustrated with them. But my friend replied, which birthed this video, that dogs simply don't know any better. They're just living in the moment, and they're completely free in this aspect. They're just living. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the trope of, to be a dog, or, dogs have such a hard life. But to me, that obviously reveals something, that the dogs, at the least, have an aspect of freedom that we do not currently have. Peace and love.
Woof, 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 woof.